pitch. They think it's all over. It is now.
Hello and welcome to They Think It's All Over. Now, both our team captains are off on holiday this week. Gary's gone to visit his cache, while David flew out this morning to the bottom of his garden. So we have two guest captains this week. Alongside Rory is our #1 javelin star, who in a thrilling Olympic final actually broke the game's record with 89 metres plus, only to see his rival Jan Železný beat it with a 90-metre throw. He's now trying to buy a 91-metre javelin. Steve Backley. With Steve and Rory as a top stand-up who was also one of the main writers for Spitting Image. You may remember the grotesque rubber-faced writer if you saw his Edinburgh show. Andy Parsons. On the other side, we welcome back a sports presenter whose interests include lacrosse, rowing and dressage, or Grandstand as they're collectively known. Clare Balding. Jonathan and Claire's captain this week is Steve Davis, who last time he was here made the extraordinary claim that he once played snooker using live brownies instead of balls during an episode of Blue Peter. Well, we've looked into this, and incredibly, Steve was telling the truth. They originally did that with Cliff Thorburn, but 3 of the girls died of starvation while he spent 5 hours setting up a safety shot. We kick off this week's show with the return of our celebrations round. Steve, Jonathan and Claire, it's that long-haired layabout David Ginola for you.
Ginola! Oh, yes! That's his first for John Gregory. His first for Aston Villa.
Now, that was Ginola putting one away for the Villa against Man City, but why the strip show, Steve Davis's team?
Why do footballers have to do these silly goal celebrations, eh? Why do they do it? Steve, when you win at snooker... Oh, I'm sorry, that's probably a sore point, isn't it? Steve, when you win at the I'm sorry, that's a sore point. Actually, you know what? I don't know if you know this, I used to do a bit of the javelin.
Really?
I think I could give you a few tips. You want to focus on your run-up speed. You want to work on that left foot pronation on the crossover step. You want to try and up the arm power a bit, and the most important tip I could give you, try to throw the javelin a bit further than the other bloke. I'm telling you, even an inch will do it, and an inch isn't it's not a lot, an inch. As Rory's girlfriend's always telling me, it really isn't much.
You're on dodgy ground there, Jonathan.
I think actually bringing Rory up here for scientific experiment purposes only, seeing Ginola with his shirt off, a lot of women around the country will be saying, oh, that's a real man. But what would a real man really look like with his shirt off?
Well, you take your shirt off then, Claire.
That's a very nice rash. Can we have another look at this, what is supposed to be a fine figure of a man? Well, I've got a slightly bigger right arm than left.
Have you? Let's have a feel.
Feel that. Yeah.
Well, it's like a child's.
For all that, that, yeah? Over the years.
You mean all that time you sit there wiping the tears away, you mean? Why is he ripping his shirt off? Just to show off? Just to say, look at me, I'm a handsome young man at the time of life?
I think what it was, he looks very fit and strong there and very muscular, but in fact, John Gregory, when he transferred to Aston Villa, was having a go at him for being a bit tubby. Said he was a bit of a tub of lard. So he lost a load of weight, did a lot of training, scored the goal, and then took off his shirt to say, yeah.
Captain, is that our final answer? I have no idea.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Sounds better than anything else we've come up with.
That's leadership.
What you've come up with.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I'll give you 3 points for that. Yes, the answer is that Villa manager John Gregory had accused Ginola of being overweight, and this was his way of showing what a fit and lean body he has. Ginola once replied to a Sun journalist with the words, "Screw you, respect yourself, don't pissing me off." They immediately offered him a job as a leader writer. Last year, a French woman claimed that David Ginola was the father of her baby daughter. Although he denied it, the resemblance was uncanny. The child had flowing brown locks and couldn't walk 3 steps without falling over. Steve, Rory and Andy, it's a sport not even Grandstand has dared touch yet. Enduro sport, an uphill biking event from Lassing in Austria.
Don't stop running.
By the way, I'd just like to reassure viewers that none of the German bikers you saw there escaped any serious injury. Now, another Frenchman, Serge Nuc, there was the overall winner of the prestigious uphill biking Grand Prix circuit. But why is he celebrating by having his head shaved?
I'm sorry, that's not uphill biking. Jonathan lent me a video called Uphill Bikers. Nothing like that at all.
Presumably he wanted his head shaved just to make him look very good.
Yeah, this side of the room is like an ad for hair restorer, isn't it? Before, after, and steady on, steady on.
No, though, if I shaved all your hair off, I don't reckon anyone would recognise you.
You shave my hair off, no bastard will recognise you, mate, I'll tell you. Silver medal or no silver medal? So this uphill biking thing, the idea is they struggle like mad to get to the top and then they have an embarrassing slide down to the bottom. Sound familiar, Steve Davis?
Could we take another look at the photograph at the end there, please?
I reckon Maradona sneezed over him.
What's that guy behind, look? His flies are undone there.
How do you make that out?
He's in his ear now, look.
Come on! We've got no idea.
Is it because he's French, then, and he hasn't quite got used to toothpaste? Or where to put it?
More and more I feel snooker's exciting when I hear you.
It's just an idea.
Don't have him.
But you know, regardless of the answer, first we have a question about David Ginola. Well, let's be honest, no one really cares. First of all, you've got David Ginola, then you've got these French motocross. Has this show suddenly become Il Pense Que Tous Over with Nick Coq le Main?
He slips in and out of the language like a natural.
I'm stupid in 2 languages.
No, neither team's got it correct. It's traditional, apparently, for the riders who finish 2nd and 3rd to shave the head of the winner, because he's humiliated them all season, and now it's their turn to humiliate him. You can enter the race in any vehicle you like. You don't need a licence, insurance, indicators, mirrors, or safety equipment. Last year, the event was won by a Liverpool minicab driver. And at the end of that round, Steve Backley's team have no points, but Steve Davis's team have 3. It's time now for Sporting Bluff, where the teams decide who on the other side is telling the truth and who are big fat fibbers. Steve D's team, your subject is Manchester United striker and part-time film director Dwight Yorke. Here he is, completing the destruction of West Ham last week.
Phil Neville to Keane. And again, good cross! Splendid goal!
Now, Dwight Yorke has recently splashed out on a status symbol, but what did he buy, CVB's team?
Dwight Yorke recently splashed out on a Robin Reliant.
Dwight Yorke recently splashed out on a butler.
Dwight Yorke recently splashed out on a home cinema.
In your heyday, Steve, did you work your way through the page 3 goals of the day?
Well, it wasn't really the image at the time.
At the time, as opposed to the image you have now, Steve? You must have had your fair share of snooker groupies, nuts are we.
Yeah, most of Shag, Chaz and Dave.
Hey, there's a threesome I'd pay to watch.
You already have.
You would have bought a Robin Reliant, though. That would have been
No, I wouldn't have bought a Robin. I did actually win a larder.
Imagine that. Steve Davis in a larder. Wouldn't that drive the chicks crazy?
That was a good suggestion, though.
Well, actually, having you here, it's almost like David's with us because you're posh and you're balding, so it's like having Gower back.
I think you've been giving David Gower rather a hard time, because I've been to his house, and having seen the photos of your house, Your house is bigger.
Claire, you've been to the lodge. You haven't got the air miles to get to his house.
You quite fancy Dwight, you were telling me
I
earlier.
think he's lovely, yeah. He's
So
gorgeous,
that's
great
David
smile.
Ginola and Dwight. In fact, everybody who's turned up so far in a question.
No, not Jonathan.
No.
After Rory took his shirt off, I'm afraid not Rory. Steve? Well, you know.
Potential.
Oh, I think you'll find his javelin doesn't reach the mark. I've got Jan Železny's phone number.
Fantastic, that'll do.
But can you imagine Dwight York's butler coming in the morning? What would he say? Good morning, sir. I've ironed your Sunday sport for you. Your slappers are warming nicely by the fire. Shall I part the curtains for you, or would you like to do it yourself? I was just warming up for it. But you know, Dwight, because Dwight, we all know Dwight likes a home movie.
Yeah.
What other point is there for getting a home video, frankly? All right, you do the kids' birthdays. Make sure you don't get the tapes mixed up when the folks say that.
I don't think Steve and I had the same experience of home cinema, but obviously Jonathan
Oh, you
does.
must have appeared in at least one. Come on. Everyone's done one. Everyone's done one. Claire, come on.
Sadly not, no.
Were you with your horse riding gear? They must have been banging on your door.
If we could return briefly to the question.
So it's a toss-up between the butler and the Robin Reliant. What do you think, team captain?
The one that we're obviously not supposed to get is Robin Reliant.
So you think that Andy was telling the truth? Let's see if you're right.
Indeed.
Yes, Andy spoke the truth. Dwight York now proudly parks his Robin Reliant alongside all the Mercs and Lamborghinis at the Man United training ground. York said he first got the idea when I was walking down the street in Birmingham and I saw this three-wheeled car coming my way. I'd never seen anything like it before. A car in Birmingham with that many wheels left. Amazing. York says he bought the car for his new girlfriend Jordan. A company spokesman said it's a souped-up model with twin airbags. Just finish it yourself. Steve B's team, it's the first time we've ever featured that doyen of the English stage, Sir Ian McKellen, on They Think It's All Over. He has a connection with one of these three sporting megagods.
One good pot on the blue could perhaps win the match for him.
Steve, leave that one. Warning, Mr. McGrath.
Well, it had to come. Can he respond to Steve Backley's throw? 41 centimetres the difference at the moment. It's gone low, it's gone long, it's gone long. Oh! Well, the wait may have been worth it.
So, Sir Ian McKellen recently revealed that his performance as Coriolanus at the National was based on which of those? Steve's team?
Sir Ian McKellen's Coriolanus was inspired by the calmness under pressure of Steve Davis.
Sir Ian McKellen's Coriolanus was inspired by John McEnroe's refusal to obey convention.
So Ian McKellen's Coriolanus was inspired by Olympic javelin champion, and my, what a good-looking fellow he is. Jan Železny's will to win.
You've done Wimbledon, haven't you, Claire?
I have,
So
yeah.
John Hartson wasn't that keen, I hear.
Old Jan Železný, he only beat you by, what, 20 centimetres in the end?
He did.
He's Czechoslovakian, isn't he? So
Yeah.
He only has one sentence of English, doesn't he? Bad luck, Steve.
Because he's a major, apparently. He's a major in the Czech army, old Jan Železný. So I think when you go for it in 4 years' time, what we need to do is we need to declare war on the Czech Republic, get Jan involved in a bit of action elsewhere, and then Steve will come through and get gold, ladies and gentlemen.
No, he'll get beaten by some cook from the Moldovan army.
But you train at home, don't you, Steve?
I do train at home, yeah. I've got a garden that's 300 feet long and a yard wide.
And yet, Jan Železny's got a garden that's 301 yards long.
Now, don't lose your temper. I know you've got a short fuse, slightly shorter than Jan Železný.
I did my best.
You did.
As my mum always told me, do your best, and I did my best. And I came second. In fact, I sometimes try to come second. My girlfriend's actually quite happy the fact that I usually come second.
She's quite happy when Jonathan comes first, isn't that right?
Yeah, but Železny's always following up behind me. He can last for days, that fella.
Go on, let's have an answer out of you.
They're just having a go at you and Steve, aren't they? The first and third.
Exactly. They're having a pop at Steve, they're having a pop at me, so I think it's John McEnroe.
You think it's John McEnroe, so you think that Steve Davis was correct. Let's see if you're right. Yes, well done. Yes, Steve Davis was right. It was apparently the scorn, arrogance, prowess, heroism and lack of humility in John McEnroe that inspired Sir Ian's towering performance. John McEnroe is not the only tennis star with a short fuse. Tim Henman was involved in a major row at last year's Wimbledon semi-final. A bloke with a big hat sat in front of him in row X. And at the end of that round, Steve Backley's team have 3 points and Steve Davis' team have 6. Next up is Author, where a pair of sporting quotes are read out and the teams have to guess who originally said them. Steve Davis's team, here comes yours.
I'd have to wear a costume that would make people look up to me. A superhero costume, though I wouldn't be running around in pantyhose like Superman. I'd definitely have a shield to protect me and a cloak to make myself invisible. And a bazooka. That'd be quite useful. I'd be the mighty hero man or fighter man. No, wait. The brother man.
So, whose words were those?
It's probably Jonathan about to go out for a party, isn't it? That was a bazooka.
I'd wear the pantyhose.
My hero in a cloak was Ray Reardon.
Really?
That has nothing to do with this, it just reminded me.
What time do we need to get you back before they lock the doors?
So it's a boxer, is it?
I think fighter man says boxer, brother man is like a black boxer. Pantyhose is an American phrase. We wouldn't say pantyhose. You see what I'm saying here, Steve? Follow my line of thought if you can.
Yes.
What is that? Is that teal or is that moss, that colour shirt?
Marks and Spencer's.
Because you've got...
What? Marks and Spencer.
I noticed
the shares are plummeting and he's... Have you seen that Marks and Spencer's?
Well, it's cheap.
You've got some cracking stuff there.
It's cheaper now because they're struggling.
So you feel at home?
I think we have to declare an amnesty, don't you?
Oh, come on, let's get on with the field of sportsman.
Come on then.
What do you think of that?
Still
Captain, it's down to you to call.
Pantyhose. Lennox.
You think Lennox?
You say Lennox
you swung
Lewis?
me. Yep.
It's correct for 3 points.
Wow.
Yeah, Lennox Lewis is, of course, as cockney as the next man, as long as he's standing next to Dick Van Dyke. Lewis claims that one of his favourite pastimes is standing naked in front of the mirror looking at what God has given me. Rory often looks in the mirror to see what God has given him. The answer being all the pies. Steve Backley. Steve Backley's team, this one's for you.
The swimmers are awful. They finish their competition and stay in the village and party for the rest of the games. 90% of them can't win medals. They are just here to have fun.
Is the Olympic Village like a real village, though, Steve? Did teenagers hang around the market square on Saturday night?
Are there lots of parties as well?
Lots of parties.
Could be a bit poor, couldn't it, the British parties, though, because the relay team, they turn up with all the bottles and then drop them just before they got to the party.
You can't bring a bottle to an Olympic party, they'll be full of urine, won't they? Mind you, Chinese swimmers' urine is pretty good, actually. Knock you out for days, eh? Jan Železný.
Do we have to mention him again?
I just wondered if he goes to parties.
He goes to a slightly better party than Steve.
And he's ever so slightly funnier than you. I actually shared a room with him, and I remember him saying, I remember all the hassle that we went through because he said it. It's Jonathan Edwards.
He's a Christian, isn't he, Jonathan? Does he pray?
No wonder he thinks the swimmers are awful. Of course, he could beat the swimmers, couldn't he? All he'd have to do is stand on the edge of the pool, the water would part, he'd just be able to run straight away along the bottom.
Yeah, I'll give you 3 points for that. It was indeed. It was triple jump gold medalist Jonathan Edwards' controversial quote just prior to the Sydney Olympics. I mean, it's not as if swimming's even a proper sport. Not like the hop, skip and the jump. And at the end of that round, Steve Backley's team have 6 points and Steve Davis' team have 9. It's that time in the show now where our regulars grope around in the dark in the quest for points. As we play Feel the Sportsman, Steve and Jonathan, you're up first.
Oh,
let's take your positions.
Oh. Yeah, sorry.
Do you like it?
Yeah, love it.
Full glory.
Probably if I go to an Indian restaurant and stand still, I'd disappear.
And can we have our first mystery guest, please? OK, you can start your feeling now.
Blimey.
Is it Rory? Feels like Rory.
It is Rory.
Hold it. No, it's not Rory. He hasn't got a face like a baboon's arse. Although it's bloody close, I'll tell you that much. Remember, you've had some food, haven't you?
Leave
him alone. That's a good Christmas, isn't it?
That's it.
Is it Santa Claus in casual wear? He's got very delicate hands. I sense an artistic temperament. No, it might be. This might be Železný, because he's just given me one of Steve's javelins. Is it? That's a dart. Is it? Is it Jim Bowen's old pal Bully? I can smell china clay,
that's clay.
woodbine,
yes,
and the smell of disappointment. Is he from Stoke?
I think he is. 9 times, one of our legends, 9 times world champion, Phil Taylor.
Is it correct answer? Stoke-on-Trent, Phil Taylor. Well done, 3 points. So, Steve and Rory, could you move to your places, please?
Go on, then.
Can't miss, can you? There.
Blindfolds on.
It's very easy to get a 50 from here.
OK, can we have our second mystery guest, please? OK, and your time starts now.
Rory's underpants.
Jonathan, shut your mouth! Jonathan, put it away! Oh, sorry. I can't play Feel the Sportsman in this weather. Oh, come on! She's holding for spice!
Is it Tony Bullimore? He's off course again.
There's a...
Have you found anyone, Rory?
I found an inflatable woman!
Have you? I'm coming round.
It's the ex-person who won Come on! It's there's a gold medalist in your team.
Yes, gold medalist.
Shelley Robertson.
Shelley Robertson! So at the end of that round, Steve Davis's team have 12 points and Steve Backley's team have 9. We finalise matters by playing the name game. The leaders goes first, which is Steve Davis's team.
Oh, wow, hold this lead,
90
Steve.
seconds to get as many names as you can, and your time starts now.
We saw him earlier. Looks after his hair. He doesn't just wash and go. He deserves
David
the best.
Schindler.
That's right. There you go. OK. In the 80s, Green and Common women would wear a badge saying "No to a certain kind of weapons.
Nuclear bomb.
Nukes, well done.
Nukes.
And the first word would be, if you had a sudden burst of power, it'd be a power...
Surge.
Surge nukes, well done. OK. We met him before, he was a big fat bloke. No, he was a nice bloke with darts, yeah, there you go. All right, this guy, you should know him, he played snooker, he was the Typhoon, that was his nickname.
James Watterman.
Yeah, well done, you. OK. This one, she was in EastEnders. This was... She was Cindy Beale in EastEnders.
Michelle Collins.
There you go. Very good. If you blow your nose on him, he's like a little...
Snot.
No, you don't blow your nose on snot, that's what comes
Hanky,
out.
Mr. Hanky.
Mr. Hanky, OK, the first name, we had a Prime Minister, something Heath. First
Edward.
name? Ted Heath, well done, you. All right, this one, if you were to look at a testicle, a singular testicle... it was like a comical word for your testicles, but in the singular would be similar. Keep going. You would say, don't kick him in the...
Nuts.
No, close. Don't kick him in the... What's that for those?
Stop
don't kick him in
pointing
the...
at me.
Dumpling.
No.
That's the posh word. That's the posh word for dumpling.
And do you cradle the dumplings, Claire?
Doing my parents' man.
Bollocks! That's what you call them.
That's not a sweet little pet name.
Sean Pollock. Okay. Singular. Yeah. Dumpling.
10.
Dumpling.
10 will win it for you, Steve. 9, not good enough. 10 will win it for you. Pass those along to Rory.
We're going to come second again,
OK, and your time starts now.
A rugby player, I think he was banned recently. English rugby player.
Lawrence, Martin Johnson.
Very good indeed. Sorry, my hands are slippery and smelling fish, but... you'll recognise this bloke.
Jan Železný.
I've been to it again.
A British golfer, first name the same as our regular captain over there.
David.
David. The second part of the surname is the opposite of gentleman. Come on, boy!
Opposite of gentleman. Lady.
Brilliant.
David Lady.
David something lady. And the first part of his surname is a sort of is a lowly dwelling.
Hut. David Hut Lady.
You can describe the
cottage.
The stand.
Shed. David Shed Lady.
Like shed, but more shacky.
David Shack Lady. 2004, here we come!
Christian name the same as Cantona.
Eric.
Eric
the Eel.
No, second name is...
Eric Shack Lady.
Small and furry. No, steady on. Small and furry, and they run off cliffs in Scandinavia.
Oh,
Lemming. Eric Lemming, who...
Oh, yeah.
So, Steve Backley's team have 13, but this week's winners is Steve Davis's team with 18. Thanks to Steve, Jonathan and Claire, Steve, Rory and Andy. We're all off to put £100 on Jan Železný. We're all off to put £100 of Claire's money on Steve Backley winning the next Olympics. My name's Nick Hancock. I think it's all over. It is now.
Police work on BBC Two in a few minutes. It's A Laugh with Rowan Atkinson and the Thin Blue Line.